What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is the Kings of Napa Season 1, Episode 7. So, I told y'all if the finale was this week, I would stick with it. The finale wasn't this week, but it is next week. So, I'm going to go on and give you these next 2 episodes. But let me tell you something. If there is a Season 2, I'm going to need y'all to step it up. I'm going to need y'all to step up it up on the acting. All y'all need to go to acting school during this off season. All y'all. All y'all. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to step it up on what is up with all the voiceovers. What is that about? What are we doing with the voiceovers? Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to work on some stuff if we come back with a season 2. Anyway, moving on. So we pick up, the family is at the hospital waiting to find out what's going on with the mama. Now, I'm going to just go on and let y'all know, we don't see or hear nothing else about this situation for the rest of the episode. All we know is that the mama is in the hospital in critical condition. Don't nobody know nothing. Don't nobody have no answers about nothing. And we don't even see her again, okay? So let's just go on and get that out the way. Now, while they're at the hospital, of course, August is mad at Dana and blaming all of this on Dana. If he hadn't tried to sneak them and call the police behind their back, Bridget wouldn't be in jail and the mama wouldn't have got hurt. And Dana was like, you ain't gonna put this on me. At the end of the day, Bridget is guilty. We needed to call the police, and it is what it is. The mama is all of a sudden, she done found her conscience, and she loving her sister, feeling probably guilt. But she, is all about, the sister, and we're gonna pray for her. And I learned something when we were locked up in the thing together, and family gotta come together, okay? Now, Aunt Yvette shows up, and Aunt Yvette is feeling some kind of way about the whole situation herself. She said, listen, I know that Bridget ain't guilty. Bridget didn't do nothing. Y'all need to get her ass out of jail. And what's going on with the mama, okay? Now, we see August and Kelvin. Now, August really liked that Ivy Park, because she had another Ivy Park outfit while she running with Kelvin. And Kelvin is basically trying to tell her or remind her, listen, you know who August is. And she was like, no, you don't understand. August been acting real funny lately, and she been tripping. And a part of me wants to believe that she's not guilty, but there's a whole lot of evidence, and there's a whole lot there. And Kelvin is like, but you know her. Like, we grew up together. Like, I can't believe she would do this to the family. And she was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I need you either with me. Either you with me or you against me. But I can't have you being two-sided with this whole situation, okay? I need you with me. And Kelvin was like, girl, I got your back. But this is Bridget that we talking about. Now, Aunt Yvette goes to visit Bridget in jail because, of course, she don't believe that Bridget is guilty. And Bridget is trying to tell her, I'm not guilty. Y'all need to get me out of here. I didn't do nothing wrong. She said, I can't believe that August believes that. Like, you need to get August to come down here and talk to me. And you need to tell her that I ain't do this. So, August goes down there to visit Bridget. And Bridget and August, she's trying to talk. But again, Bridget is like, girl, there's so much evidence. Like, I want to believe that you didn't do this, but there's a whole lot of evidence that points that you did do it. Like, I'm not understanding. And Bridget is like, see, listen, this the problem right now. She said, and then she said something about, so what you thought, because Bridget made a comment, August made a comment about her and the dad. And she was like, oh, so you think that me and your dad, or our dad has some sort of, like, secret situation? Like, you feel like that, I got more of his attention and more of his love. Like, is this about jealousy or something? And August was like, well, you did know. How did you find out? And she wouldn't tell her. She was like, whatever. Well, it does seem like that you really, had something to do with it. And Bridget was like, see, that's the problem. She said, you are in over your head, okay? You are in over your head, and you can't handle this responsibility. So, but basically don't put it back on me because you can't handle what's going on, okay? We supposed to be sisters, but I see you, you see me, and we see each other, okay? Christian and his boo thing done made up, and she hyping his head up to make him think that, he the man, okay? That was an unnecessary scene. I don't know why they put that in there. Dana is down to the office, and the mama is trying to talk to him, and he ain't trying to listen to her. They getting ready for this big tasting. They've got, like, all the top people coming in to do the tasting for this dessert wine. And The mama is trying to talk to Dana and trying to talk to him about, well, you know, Rose, and you need to talk to her. You need to call her. You know, like, I think y'all can really work this out. I can't believe it's as bad as it is. And he was like, I'm good. I'm over it. Like, it is what it is. You know, Ariva Dirty, she won't call me. I ain't heard from her. And then we basically see Dana turn into a hoe. He got 3-4 women coming in and out of his office, giving him massages and stuff. He walking around with a towel on, showing off his six-pack and shit. And then we see later on in the episode, big baby brother Christian call Rose and leave this long ass 5-minute message, basically saying, "You done told on your brother, because you done basically told his wife that he cheating on her, talking about something. He down here wilding out. He got all these masseuses, and that's just, you know, I remember who he was before he met you. You know that he was down for you. He loved you. He had your back. I don't understand. You need to come back. You need to call. You need to remember the love that y'all shared. I know who he is without you." Whatever. I was like, but do you realize that in that long ass message, you basically told Rose that her husband was down to the Napa Valley cheating on her? I don't know if that's what you meant to do, but that's what you did. You told on your sister, your brother. Anyway, so they have the tasting, right? Everything is going well. All of the top wine tasters seem to be impressed. Dana is doing his best pitch, and when they ask August about the wine, and they say, "Oh, so is this new dessert wine? Is this your legacy that you're leaving? You know, now that you're the new president?" And she was like, "Yes, this is my baby." And you can see Dana's face drop. Like, you can see Dana feel some kind of way about that. And he tells her later on, he says, "See, Dad never did that. It was a one for all for one situation. Nobody took credit for anything. It was all the family. So for you to be like, yeah, I did this and I did that, like, you going, like, once again, you going against the way Dad did this and the way Dad ran this company, and I feel some kind of way about it." And she was like, "Dana, it's all of us. I mean, we really definitely are doing this together. Like, it really is all of us." Now, while all of that is going on, them top wine, that woman that was going to do the interview on Dana, that got that tape on them, and then they ended up getting her fired. Well, she was there as a taster, and they were like, "Oh, so all of a sudden now she know fine wine." And of course, she had to stir the pot. But what we find out is, what we end up finding out is that other winery, Sean and Sean, that Bridget was working for, how about they found out about the dessert wine, and they are not only pushing into production their own dessert wine, but they have undercut the price of what the Kings were going to do. And the tasters were like, "Well, the wine isn't as good, but it does have a better profit margin." And what do y'all have to say about that? Because Sean and Shonda had a whole private tasting a couple of days before, so they're undercutting them in every direction. And come to find out, they got the inside scoop from Bridget. So of course now Dana is side-eye, like, you see what I'm talking about? Bridget is betraying us at every turn. Every time we look up, it's Bridget, it's Bridget, it's Bridget. And so of course August is like, "Damn, every time I feel like I'm, second guessing." She said, "And to think I was feeling sorry for her, and this is what she did to us." We also find out that word has gotten around all around the valley, which of course that's to be expected. That word is out all around the valley that Bridget, and of course, people always got to put a little stank on it. So Bridget went from being an extortionist to, not only is she an extortionist, but she tried to kill her mama. And they were like, she did not try to kill her mama. But of course, they were like, that's the rumor. That's what we heard. So Dana and Christian get really pissed off, and they end up going over to Sean and basically threatening them about this dessert wine. And Christian actually act like he was getting ready to fight one of the boys. But Dana was like, "You will get our cease and desist in the morning, okay? If you don't pull that wine." And they were like, "We're not pulling no wine." Like, "What you talking?" No. So then Aunt Yvette goes to Kelvin and basically tells Kelvin, "You need to represent Bridget. Y'all know, Bridget didn't do it. You know Bridget isn't guilty, and she needs the best representation that she can get." And Kelvin was like, "I can't do that. That's like a conflict of interest." And she was like, "Oh, Oh, because you tapping my niece. Oh, so because you and Augustin got back together, you can't help out Bridget. You know she's not guilty. And he was like, well, listen, I can recommend her to one of somebody at my firm who will definitely represent her. And Bridget was like, that's not good enough. Like, she needs you. It's not good enough. She needs you. So Yvette basically threatens him into doing it, and he agrees to do it. And he said he's like, on one condition, let me tell August first. Like, let me explain to her first. Well, he is trying to call August, and August won't take his phone calls. And so he finds out, so she ends up finding out from Aunt Yvette anyway, about the fact that he's representing Bridget. And so, of course, everybody is pissed off about it. Everybody in their feelings about it. But Mama is defending Bridget. Mama was like, I don't care if she's the extortionist or not. And I really don't blame her. Do you blame her? Look at what this family did to her. Like, she had a whole daddy she didn't know nothing about. And then they come to find out that they did know something about it. They tell the mama, no, she knew. She's known for a long time. And she said, okay, well, whatever, because I understand where she's coming from. So then we find out that they have a warrant to search her house the next day, search Bridget's house. Mama makes a little smart comment at Dana about, well, that's why Rose then left his ass. So, of course, Dana and his feelings about that, because he was getting smart with the mama, and the mama was like, listen, at the end of the day, I'm still your mama. You're not going to talk to me crazy. That's why your wife left your ass. And I was like, ooh, that's not nice. I mean, it's probably true, but that's not nice. So the next day, the police go to Bridget's house and they execute the search warrant, and they find more evidence. They find more of the poison. They find that chocolate that was in the mama's house that they think that Bridget planted the chocolate there. They also find because the chocolate, I think her mama is allergic to chocolate, something with the chocolate. I forgot now, but that happened like the first or second episode. And then her phone records align. Like, her phone, every time they got a call from the extortionist, her phone call, it traced back to her phone. And so Kelvin is able to get her out of jail, but he tells her, he said, listen, the evidence against you is bad. Like, it is very compelling. And she was like, but I'm not guilty. Somebody is setting me up. Like, there's someone who is clearly setting me up because I ain't do nothing. I didn't do none of this. And he was like, well, that may be true, but I got to go to the DA and kind of see what else they got going on and if they willing to do any type of negotiation, willing and dealing. So he goes and talks to the DA, and he finds out that they actually do have like a lot of evidence. Circumstantial, but, well, I don't even know if it's circumstantial, but they have a lot of evidence. And he tells her that, he said they're offering you 6 months and then, like, I think it's like $500,000 restitution. She was like, so wait a minute. They want me to go to jail and they want me to pay restitution for something I did not do. He said, listen, I hear you and I believe you, but the evidence, it ain't good. The evidence just ain't good. And she said, if I were one of your high-powered clients, what would you recommend? He said, I would recommend they take the deal. Like, I'm giving you what I got. So she ends up firing him, child. Like, basically, she think another lawyer gonna tell her something different. So Kelvin goes to August so they can work it out. And he says, listen, August, look, I tried to call you and tell you what was going on. No, because, I'm sorry, rewind. August confronts Kelvin, and she basically tells him, listen, I can't trust you. You went behind my back. You're representing the person that's trying to put my company out of business. Yes, she might be my sister, but she's trying to put us out of business, and you didn't even tell me about it. So at the end of the day, I mean, I can't be in a relationship with somebody I can't trust. That's just it, and that's just all. They also find out that they done lost their distribution deal because word done got back, and the guy that Aunt Yvette was, whining and dining, and then, he got a call from his boss telling him that they couldn't do the wine distribution for Kings. They're now going to do Sean and Sean because they're cheaper. It's going to be cheaper for them to, represent them, a bigger profit margin. And of course, Aunt Yvette is pissed, and she tries to convince him to change the company's mind, and she turns it into a whole Black Lives Matter moment. And he tells her, he said, listen, number one, This is not a Black Lives Matter moment. This is a business moment, okay? Because she goes down the whole history of black people in the wine business and why people didn't want to do business with her brother because they didn't think black people knew about wine and all we wanted was Moscato with ice in it. But, she going to climb the mountaintop and show them, that Martin Luther King is holding hands with Malcolm X down to the winery. I don't know. But I was like, girl. But he said, does this mean that we over? And she was like, nah, we could separate business and pleasure, okay? And I'm happy for Auntie Vet because he's a nice looking gentleman. And I would hate to see her kick him to the curb because of this bull hockey, okay? So then that's when Kelvin goes to August and says, listen, we need to work this out. You got to understand. You have to learn how to trust me. At the end of the day, hell, she didn't fire me anyway. She didn't like the fact that she felt like I wasn't supporting her and I didn't have her back. So she didn't fire me anyway. So they end up, making up and, doing the things that couples do when they make up. And then next thing you know, after they sitting on the couch being all lovey-dovey and stuff, Bridget calls him back and says, I'm going to hire you back because my daddy ain't raised no punk and I'm going to fight and I want you to represent me because I know that you were good. So then he gets up and he's like, oh, I got to go prepare my case. She was like, what? August was like, I thought we just resolved this. You still working for her? He was like, listen, what I tell you about trusting me. So as he getting ready to walk out the door, who was at the door? His wife. Talking about, I thought I saw y'all running the other day, and oh, is this what's going on? So you mean to tell me that you done started a whole new relationship before the ink is dry on our divorce? She said that changes everything. And so he was like, let me talk to you outside. And August is like, wait a minute, what? You leaving with her? Like, you leaving with her? And he said, that is still the mother of my child. And what I tell you about trusting me, like, I gotta handle this. I said, listen, it is still something about that situation that I just don't trust. I want to like Kelvin and I want to trust Kelvin, but it is something about him that I just don't. Now, when Bridget got back home, she realized how they tore her house up, but then she went and looked at one of her pictures and looked at it has a false back. Baby, that thing is full of money and it is one of her father's Morehouse hats. And I was like, okay, do I think Bridget is the blackmailer? I do not. But clearly Bridget got something going on because she had a whole lot of cash. Okay? So last but not least, we see Bridget meeting up with that white guy again. And that's the guy that she had been talking to earlier. And she told him, listen, I still want to stick to the plan. And he was like, you hot. You hot and the block is hot. People are watching you. And I can't do nothing for you right now. I can't help you. And she was like, wait a minute. Where are you going? I need you. I need you. But he drives off and he leaves her standing there screaming at him. So I don't know who this man is. I don't know what they was working on together. But he was clear to say, nope, can't, nope. And that's the episode, child. Like I said, next week is the finale, and we will see what happens. Talk to y'all later. Peace.